Welcome everyone to the Flute Center Salon Series. We're delighted you could come, and I'm even more delighted to welcome Jasmine Choi, who's I've known for a long time, and she's an amazing flutist, and the Flute Center is just so proud to have her present her masterclass here in New York City. So without further ado, Jasmine Choi.
Thank you so much for coming. It's a full house. Never seen so many people. It's so great seeing you. And thank you so much, Bill, for the great introduction. I really feel like home here with every reason.
Well, this is your home.
Yes, I feel very welcomed. And we've developed a great friendship over the years. And this is already my second time doing the masterclass, but with people, it's my first time. The first one was during the pandemic, and it was live streaming, I think. That was also weird and scary, you know, when I don't get the instant reaction. And apart from the Flute Center, I have to say, how delighted I am to see Linda Mark today. She was at my audition for the Master's of Music, and since then we've become friends and we played so many lessons and
right.
concerts.
What school were you at?
And, yeah, and when I saw it just yesterday, the program, first thing I thought about was like, oh my God, Linda's coming. Second thing was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna know what I'm gonna say. She knows exactly what Mr. Baker taught me to say. Anyway, so she's amazing. She knows every flute repertoire, and you can ask her anything. She can give also a master class easily. So we have today 4 performers, and we try to manage with variety of the pieces so that we can learn in all different aspects of the flute playing. And I wanted to focus today on the general flute playing as well, not only for every note, every phrase, what should do. We'll touch that as well, but feel free to ask questions about flute playing in general. And I think the beauty lies in when we talk about the same topic together and discuss about it together, because that's when we grow, talking about the same thing, the same topic. And this thing called flute playing, it's not one of the things that you can instantly talk about in the middle of the street. You meet somebody and, oh, how can I make a better sound? You can't talk about it. You can talk about weather and other things, but so that's why I find this time very special. So let's get into it.
Here we go.
When anyone claps, I think you can take a bow. I think it's more awkward when you just stand there and, not knowing what to do. But bravo, bravo. I wanted to hear more, but time is short rather. So let's start talking about. What do you think?
Maybe pitch.
Pitch. Oh, I didn't get there yet.
Okay.
You're very detailed. I'm coming from a very big picture to the detail.
Maybe like body language.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. My very first impression, I don't know about you guys, but my very first impression was, even when you were tuning with the piano, was very relaxed and in tune. You talked about pitch. You were very in tune and ease. And I thought, wow, great sound. And he's ready, and he's only 17. And then you started your piece, and then I'm like, wait, is this the same person? It's a funny thing that when we do the tuning, it's so most of the time it's stress free, and we're like, this is my A. And then when it comes to the piece, oh my God, I have to play well. And then you're a little more tense, then you get a little bit nervous, and then the sound quality is not the same. Somehow the brain, our brain, mind, and our sound, it works the other way around somehow. You know, it works for the sports athletes as well. The more you want to do, the better you want to do. Somehow it works, how do you say, counterproductive? No? So now you're warmed up. Let's start again. And you talked about body language. It could be in the same subject, that if you're tensed, also we can tell, not only from your sound, but also from your body as well. So forget about us. You're all alone in this room. You're only practicing, and forget about I have to do well. You know, let's just play. It's a great piece of music. I love Romberg. He's a great composer, and we'll get to that. But let's just hear maybe first few phrases, and then we'll talk more.
I'll give you 2 bars.
How do you feel?
I feel more relaxed.
Yeah, that's great. That's how we felt too, right? But now the question is, how shall we get there in the first time? You know, whenever you're playing for the audition, for a concert, you know, there's no second time. They're not gonna have you play again. Oh, now you're relaxed and you're warmed up. Let's play again. We'll give you another chance. No, we're only having one shot. So I quite remember if anyone talked about this when I was a student, but as I was performing more and more, I was realizing how important it is how you think, what your mindset is before stage, on stage as well, right? So what I realized was, like I said, the better you want to do, it works the other way. And the more you want to relax, you think about, oh, I have to relax, I have to relax, and then you get tense more. It's a very rough cycle, you know? So I wanted to really get out of this, I would say, bad habit, so to speak. That's why I said erase every one of them. You know, there's no jury, there's not even a public, you know, or even if there is a public like this, see, they're all smiling at you, they want you to do well. We're not here to criticize you, we're here to get better together, you know. So, so much over talk. I should let you play more. Let's do, we'll go back, and now it's your third time, and talking about body language, now that you spoke about it, I saw very, very good posture. Great posture is always good, but now that you want to know more about body language, it should also serve what you want to bring to the audience. So in this case, we're playing a concerto, which means normally there's a whole orchestra behind you, and most of the time there's a conductor, or in this case you could even do it yourself. So which means you are the leader. But with your posture, I can only see a very good student. You know, oh, he learned very well, very correctly, you know? But then how are you going to do it?
Maybe
With the music?
maybe giving more cues.
More cues, that's good.
I also feel like I have an issue with like knowing where to look.
Sometimes I get this question.
Yeah.
I feel that's a very strange question, actually. But before we get to that question, I wanted to continue what you were saying about read more, giving more cues, but think about conductors first. They can give you a great cue, they can lead, but we need a lot more than giving a cue. So where I was going for was that you're the soloist, you're leading the whole orchestra. So you have to give the impression of, ta-da, this is my thing. I got this. Not like, am I doing correctly? You know? Yeah, it only comes from inside out. Not like you have to imitate from outside in. I have to give this. No. If you have it inside, it'll come out of you without trying, or without even, let's get there, without even thinking about where to look. You know? When I was a teenager, a long time ago, that was not a question I ever thought about. But time to time, I do get these questions that, where do I look during the concert? Normally, you look at the part, or you're opening your eyes, but you're not really looking at anything. That's how I get it. You're looking with the peripheral vision, not like, oh, that's a nice bag. Or, oh, she's pretty in that artist. No, it's like you're looking the whole picture, but then in your brain, you're playing the music. Let me give you 2 examples. So, I've never played this piece, but let's see. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. So, the first one is going to be this could have been a flute sonata, I would say. But as a concerto, look at this rhythm. A lot of classical period concertos start like that. You know, a lot of marching. So I would play differently because it's a concerto, because it's from the classical era. You don't play everything the same. You have to change so much because of the piece, for the piece's sake. So I would rather play like the ups and downs, but in this case, you have to first of all play from the up first, not from the middle and stay in the middle. Am I doing it right? You know? So, give us. Look at even Nielsen concerto. It's a ta-da moment. Ta-da! Look at the rhythm, it's a ta-da. Yes? So give us the ta-da, right? Okay, and then we'll move on. Yeah?
Okay.
All you did was a change of a dot, and then the whole thing changes. Yeah? So sometimes you have to come from the bigger picture, and then go detail, and then sometimes come back out again. I always think about the Google map, Google Earth,
Right.
Google Earth.
Right.
When you come all the way back, you see a little ball of all Earth, you know, and then. Do you know about Romberg a little bit?
He was a cello player.
Yeah. And?
He wrote one of cello concertos.
Yeah?
Yeah, and this was probably a commission. I think he's the only one who wrote.
I think so. Yeah. Lucky us. So Romberg was like, for us, it's like De Vienne, who wrote so many flute concertos. So Romberg was a cello fanatic. I would say. He's written like 10 cello concerti, and plus a lot of cello concertinos as well. So, and double concertos, and he made the modern cello more adaptable. He did some little here and there innovations of the cello instrument itself. So probably it's more like Berg for us, right? So I think when you approach this piece or his composition in general, always keep in mind of the cello playing, you know, because that's where he came from. And this was his once in a lifetime, literally, flute piece. So for him, it's all about cello. He could play everything in cello. So that might help a lot. So when we are tackling, so to speak, and learning so many repertoires as we go, we are most of the time swamped by so many notes. We don't even have enough time to learn all the notes, so to speak. But what will help us for the long run is to know more about the composer. So this kind of a imagination already would change you a lot in your playing and in your interpretation. So listen to other Romberg's cello concertos. You know, they are actually very similar in the beginning, you know, but then in the middle, listen carefully how it changes and how cello develops in certain registers and certain registers not, and how Romberg would have imagined the flute of back then in his time, not the metal flute like we have. So all that kind of knowledge and imagination will get you through playing this piece more interesting way, not just another 16th note, you know, and not knowing where we're going to, you know. So I'm coming back to the bigger picture. So Romberg wrote this color he wants to create, and yeah, there are many notes, but in the end, it's just yeah, he wanted to say this, you know. So yeah, let's just do the end of the piece where there are many notes. We haven't heard this yet. Let's just hear from 320.
320? Okay. Give it all the way.
And any questions so far?
Over here,
Yeah.
I think I should put key.
You mean with
Yeah. How
With
do
the
you
piano?
approach doing like those kind
So that's actually a very good question. So his question was how to cue, for example, when he just started for the last time, and the rhythm goes like, so we're in 4/4, and the rhythm goes like 1, 2, right? In one sentence, you always have to go to the downbeat. So you're not cueing. You know, we're going for and think about if it's gonna be awkward to give her the 4th beat or the 3rd beat, or shall we go in 2 or shall we go in 4? You know, think about in the orchestra how the conductors will give. You know, if he gives you, you know, it's too fast. Sometimes, depends on the tempo, sometimes it's too fast. So they give you in 2, 1, right? Same thing with our breathing. So I would do 1, rather than 1, 2, 3, right? So I would do. So it wasn't really clear, but she came in
Plenty clear.
she came in anyway. Bad example. She'll be with you anytime, anywhere. So I would do 1, 2, right? So. So always go for the next bar. And it will be always also helpful to practice with the piano, you know, and make sure, okay, she's a bad example, but get a normal pianist and practice and ask the pianist, do you get my cue? Is that okay? You know? Yeah. So, yeah, bravo.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hands get cold.
Is it cold in this room?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think when you're not performing, it's colder. In general, have you thought about the tempo?
Yeah, I think I can take it a little bit faster.
Yeah, faster. Yeah. Because it's allegretto, malinconico, and what I felt was andante amabile.
Okay.
Yeah. And we all should still feel in two,
Yeah.
right? Rather than four. So you want to try a little quicker?
Okay.
And when you think about the tempo, it's not always about quicker or slower. It's more about the feeling, the gesture. So allegro. And the feeling of the first movement, fresh, you know? The andante cantabile comes later in the second movement. So we have to pace ourselves. First movement, second, third. So how are we gonna do this fresh beginning, right? Yeah, try again. Much better. It could still get even better. I'm just being very picky. It's a little bit too stagnant, a little bit heavy side. And I want to hear more about more flowing quality, more how do you say, buttery, French butter. So something, aromatic. A little bit of a luxury feeling. Try one. You want to try walking, playing and walking. That could help sometime. Yes, want to try? You know it in the beginning, right?
What's wrong with you?
You're a good choreographer. Yeah, very good. But without the flute, look at you walked there, just like this, and you're playing and walking, and you're like this. So walking without or with the flute should be the same. Okay, you know. Separate, but you're walking with the music. Want to try that again? From there? You can also try the other direction and come back. Whatever you want. Relax a little bit. Yeah, much better. The music is much better. While you're standing straight and like, right? Yeah, create the same. The other thing, what bothered me, can you guess? Okay, try another one. Connecting. Yeah, that too. What really was conspicuous to my ears was your vibrato. It was always the same. It doesn't matter where of the phrase, which phrase, what kind of a color, what tempo, in the middle section, beginning, ending. Have you noticed that?
I think so, yeah.
You think so? Okay, now you will notice even more. Because once you know it, you always hear it. Yeah? And this is the beginning of whatever you can fix, because we, as a performer, we only get to fix what bothers us. If we don't find out, you will never fix it. So, I'm telling you, let's see, in the middle section, like what I heard was, in that tempo as well. You know? Doesn't have to be always the same speed of the vibrato. So, let's see. We always say music is a language, which is true, right? So in our language called music, our vocabularies are all different gestures and tempos, but also all different kinds of vibratos. So the more kinds of vibratos you can create, you can express much more. So with the same speed of the vibrato, you could express this much. But if you have all kinds of different kinds of vibrato speed, different speeds, you can create more colorful music the way you want, right? Vibrato is like what you wear, for example. You don't wear summer clothes during the winter, for example. So you do need to find the right kind of clothing, right kind of vibrato. So here, I wouldn't put. Otherwise, we can always expect what you're gonna put, right? Like vibraphone. You know what vibraphone is? It's a percussion instrument, like a xylophone, but it has a switch. But it only has got on or off. And when it's on, it only goes wow, 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 wow. You don't want to do that because we are more human than vibraphone. So explore a little bit. The first step is take out all the vibrato. That's also hard, surprisingly hard. And then you figure out where is really missing a few spins of vibrato. And then you put it only there. Not like by your habit, right? So, let's see. Sometimes it's a little more. So since we're talking about vibrato, let's just play from there. No vibrato or good, no vibrato. Let's start with that. You could do without vibrato. A lot of flutist students, we cannot do it. In the beginning, it's so hard to take off the whole vibrato. It's hard. But then, let's get to the next level. So, without vibrato doesn't mean without expression, right? All of a sudden, your music became very, let's say, monotonic. I don't know what's the right word. It sounds like I know you can do much more, you know? Try to create music even without vibrato. Yeah, we'll get to that later. Up and down with the phrasing, you know, without vibrato it doesn't mean always same, right? So let's try that. I know you can do it. Yeah, same thing. Ready to put some colors, but not everywhere, right? Now, last step and we'll move on, okay? to get to it even more sophisticated. I know you wanted to do this much. I could feel it, but I couldn't hear it, right? So what I'm saying was your vibrato was there, but not audible enough. Why is that?
I think I was kind of holding back a little bit.
Holding back?
I didn't want to do too much.
Too much of what?
Too much vibrato and the voice was not as large.
Listen to these two different examples at 11. So one is okay, the other one. I don't know if it was obvious enough.
I think so. The second one had more, I feel like there was more fun. And it was more
Mhm.
obvious. And the first one was kind of the same.
Great, great ears. So the first one was I tried to do very light vibrato, but the same speed. Same speed, but light vibrato. The second one was the same speed, but deeper vibrato, so that the vibrato was more audible. But then to most of the people's, their ears, they could say, oh, it was growing, more quality, but then they don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But what exactly was the deeper spin. Yeah? So you can work on it later. Now we can go back to the beginning. Feel into and careful with the vibrato. It's so much better, so much flowing. I'm so glad you can fix right away things. And what I'm still missing now is the scherzando feeling when it comes to this second theme, second part. You're too serious. I know this is a master class and it could be a little bit intimidating, but for the sake of music, you have to put it out, Oh, it's a scherzando and happy light, Let's see. So in the very beginning, it's just like flowing and beautiful, very fluty, Every composer, most of the time when they wrote for the flute, they think of this image, oh, pretty, angelic, But then, they have to make the composition develop, right?
Yeah.
So it goes, let's make it more funny. Let's like a bird. We're always a bird somehow. So let's go to the 4. So it says léger amortant. It's like the grace notes, like a grace note, very light. Sorry. It is cold in this room. It's not like there's a blue and light blue and navy. No, it's yellow and red, and it's a big party moment here. And you have so many ratings. That's you. So try one last time at 4. Completely different character.
Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
That's serious. Melodic again. Change again. Sounds more versatile. Yeah? You have to cough.
My throat was itchy.
Yeah. Bravo. It's amazing that they're only 17-year-olds.
I know.
So, don't get discouraged. They're exceptional. They're just exceptional. Any questions? Any topics we can talk about?
I wanted to ask something. When you have your solo tours and you perform each week, or I don't know how many times, how do you keep that high level of like emotional and mental preparation that you're always ready to give the best?
I think the most important is the physical, then the mental and emotional.
Okay.
When you're tired, you don't want to think of anything else. So that's my top priority, to get a lot of sleep and enough food, and then when the body is in a good condition, then I can think about, okay, how can I play this concert in the right, like you said, right emotional state and so on. The most challenging part is the time zone. So, for example, yesterday I flew from Frankfurt to here, and in that time zone, I think I am in 1 a.m. now, right? It's 6 hours ahead over there. But staying awake longer is easier than waking up early. Right? So this is quite okay. So that's the biggest challenge. But then to answer your question, I think to put all the stress off, I find it over the years, it is a technique that I try not to think about how scary it is on stage. That's why I told you about it. It's better to know earlier than later. So they're not your enemies. The audience, they're there to encourage you or to listen to great music, share a beautiful moment together. And I tell myself, okay, if I play a lot of wrong notes or even my emotional state is not 100%, nobody's gonna die. Nobody's gonna have a heart attack. So it'll be all right, and just enjoy. So I try to be very strict to myself only in the practice sessions, much earlier before the concerts. But towards the concert dates, maybe a week before, 5 days before, and already by that time I have given up trying to be good, so to speak. I go like, it'll happen somehow, and this really helps, that try not to do so well, just to enjoy it, and then it'll come much better than you expected. So that's how I would feel. And the other thing, what has helped me a lot over the years, is that not to think about myself, but about the music. Somebody said, I forgot who this was, but somebody explained it really well, that performing on stage is a transparent glass rather than watching yourself in the mirror. So it's not about you, but I am just between the composer and the audience. So I am not here, nothing. So that also takes off a lot of pressure. And because of that, I tend to also be curious about who the composer really was as a person, what kind of a life he had, So this Friday, please come. This Friday I'm performing, among the pieces, I'm performing the Prokofiev. And recently I have become the best friends with this Sergei guy, and this makes a personal connection, and it becomes more interesting, and then takes pressure off me. It's not about me, it's about this other guy called Sergei, and he has a really he had a really hard life, and I want to know what he wanted to express in his music and so on. So when we were all younger, like kindergartner, we were all ourselves running around, and we weren't worried about anything. And then growing up, school teaches us, don't do that, don't do that, don't, and be polite to the others, and you should do this way and that way. And then we get more self-conscious, and somehow we implemented it in performing as well. But we have to just go back to our earlier selves and just do like, ta-da, this is me. Yeah, so that would help a lot. So, talking about Prokofiev, shall we? got Sonata, right? Have you learned the whole thing?
I'm actually just started.
You started learning it? Oh, yes, great. Oh, it's for a flute sonata, it's a very extensive and needs a lot of, how to say, stamina, I would say. Yeah, so it's, first of all, longer than usual, and it has all different registers in one phrase most of the time. And yeah, it's hard. And a lot of fortes, and a lot of low registers. And what's really surprising is that he really intended to be played in with the flute, you know? Normally we say, oh, this low register, it's written originally for a violin, so, you know, it's hard for us, but this is like, really? He really wrote this for flute? In general, let's see, I'm missing more of this Prokofiev feeling, Prokofiev character, and in this period. You know what I'm saying? So what is it that I'm getting at? Prokofiev color in this period, what am I talking about? So, like we said before,
The sound or the style?
oh, that's a good question. What about sound? What about the, how to say, there's a style in the sound. You can already create a lot with the sound. But what I was getting at was, by the time Prokofiev wrote this piece, was already after he's gone through the First World War and the Second World War, and he was, what's the word? He went out of the country to, say, I'm running out of vocabulary. To be out of the war zone, you know. Escape, yes. So it was a really hard period to begin with. But on top of all that, this was written in the 40s. But before, in the 20s, he has lived already in the US, in Paris, sometimes in Germany. So he has seen the other world a lot. In Paris, that you mentioned, it was so important. I am almost sure that his life, his experience in Paris has inspired him to write this piece. Because imagine in the 20s in Paris, you know, that's when all the French composers started writing a lot about flute and all these renovative pieces for flute. So in that, that in his mind, and then he came back to Russia, which has become Soviet Union, and especially by that time, most of the composers, a lot of composers tended to write compositions or write novels, you know, in accordance with the political issues, what's going on with the world. They wanted to put their message through their music. So this is starting with a very happy D major, but then it's not really happy, right? So it's a happiness disguised. So there's a difference if you just play this piece, this phrase, treating like other pieces, you know? It could be just a happy beginning different chords and harmonies, but still, you can do something like you're on top of everything. You have experienced so many hardships, and you have seen cruelties in the war, and your close friends, and other composers went out of the country, and you have also seen other countries when they were in a better situation than his country back then. So there's a difference that you're saying, oh, it was really sad, or there was such a really deep hardship, sadness that you experienced, and you cannot even talk about it, right? And then you're just trying to appear that you're okay, right? So that kind of a D major, but then not. So let them figure out later on. But even so, you cannot just play like any other piece. So in other words, put some more weight in it and put more calmness that you're on top of it. So I wouldn't beat so much.
Okay.
I noticed that. So try to be a little calmer. Of a delicate moment, and that bar coming up is a little bit of a French touch in my ear, although we always come back to his own right here. Reminiscing back in the good old days, and right now the war is happening. I think he was writing this piece and other string quartet piece where he was escaping from the war. So imagine what was going through his mind, you're still not safe. You're still very close by, right? And you have no idea when they're gonna come, and it's not like right now you can see the war is happening where and what just happened 10 minutes ago, They have no idea who's gonna come in, what just happened yesterday, no idea. So in this insecure situation, so try to, express as much as you can, and I think this kind of imagination would help you settle the right atmosphere. So here, yes. So let's go back to the beginning. Very little details, but it's out of your habit. It's less now, but still there.
No.
So yeah, but
I think when I'm nervous that helps.
probably yeah. When I'm nervous, my right leg goes up. But what was I? Like we talked about with Vishal. it's you cannot if you want to fix how not to move, it's not the right way to fix. You have to always think about why you're moving. It's because you're counting in two. But you have to count in one phrase, and then you will stay still. Right? Like the cueing as well. Shall I cue this way, that way? Shall I be more confident with body language? No, confidence from inside out. So, same thing. Count. And then you'll be still. But if you count 1 and 2 and circle. Right? So count every 4 bars. This is always count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1. Okay. Yeah. She's a bad example. She skips the beat for you with you.
I know.
Twice. Okay, once is okay, but second time I have to stop you.
Okay.
So, very good, very good. So, after, is it possible? Before 3, 4 bars before 3, wake up. This is more.
It helps without moving. Yeah.
More Prokofiev. Yeah. I don't know what you did, but it sounded like more Prokofiev to me. What? To you too?
Yes.
See? Yes. Yes. So don't just play every piece the same. You have to come from a different approach and the composer's approach, right? One very little detail is when you reach the high G sharp. It's a problematic for everybody. We tend to do the third register. It tends to get very dry and uninteresting, even when this is the one should be most alive, right? So what I heard was. Why is that? Yeah. This should be more alive and colorful rather than the other way. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. doing is put more air. When we think that we need less air, but we should do differently so that with the enough amount of the air, we can do more things. You know, without the enough amount of the air, we cannot create anything, right? That's number one. And also put some more vibrato as well. There's a difference if you just do or things like you have to feel that harmony. One last time. Oh, sorry, yeah. Interesting thing is that why we practice is that we have to make the things into our habit so that on stage we don't have to think about it, that it happens right away. But during the practice, you think about something and the other thing is not happening, right? So what didn't happen was your rhythm. You were thinking about the sound, vibrato, and your rhythm and tempo gone. Right? Yeah. So that's why we practice, so that it's somehow one day it's all there without our consciousness, right? Let's move on. Yeah. The other thing is, you played in the very beginning. And then it happens to a lot of people. And when it comes to here, all of a sudden, ba, 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 ba. And then when it comes to the recap, it's so much slower. So the piano plays 3 bars, right? So I would continue from that tempo, not like completely subito, langsam, subito, slower. Yeah, give us a few bars. There you go. A few bars,
about staccato and lower register, like just from the technical aspect. Like, what can I do to make it? Because I feel like it's not clear enough.
This was the section that I was like, wait, this was written originally for flute? Yeah, it's hard for everybody. Low register, we talk about tonguing, sound, techniques, fast fingers, My personal solution is to practice it slower. Everything slower is easy. Doesn't matter how slow it gets. It's okay to pick a really, really, really slow tempo and work on it from there. Doesn't matter which technical issue you're talking about. So in the end, you have to pick the right tempo. But for the practice, I also did, no other way, just slow. And then, really, really slowly build up. Don't build up too quickly, Don't jump the stairs, one step at a time, or escalator, but very slowly, right? People ask, how did you do it? And I say, practice slowly, and they hate it. The youngsters, they hate this answer. Of course, it's also really important how you practice, right? And my personal tip is that it's not about how much you force or how much air you want to put, but it's about with the certain amount of the air, not so much, because you don't need so much, but you have to make sure this certain amount of the air goes into the right place, most of them, right? And when I see students, they put too much air and it goes away, you're donating air to everywhere but here, right? So make sure it's about quality of the air, where it goes, not the quantity of the air. Something to think about. And actually, before you wanted to ask the question, I wanted to touch this. The theme keep coming back. So in the first one was. After bum bum and all that, and then we go. 8 bars later. And then the recap, same thing from the very beginning. And then the very end, we end like. So this theme, sorry, I'm like moving ahead. These themes keep coming back, but none of it has the same role within the whole bigger picture. So if you are able to play every theme in different notes differently, it'll be more like 3D, 4D, not like just one piece of paper, Yeah. Any other questions?
I think also for this, I would just.
Oh yeah.
So I wasn't using the thumb beat. I was just playing, with this original and then hitting the D. Is that it?
I don't know what I do. Yeah, it's
but with
original.
this, I just do it.
Original fingering, alright?
But is it okay to play it without the thumb beat?
Actually, to be honest, I don't care what you do, but it sounded right.
Okay.
It sounded very correct.
Yeah.
Yes. It sounded B flat to me, right? Great. Bravo. part first and then go in if we have more time. Very beautiful. I love how you take time here and there and give more and take back, and it was very, very interesting. But we can always get better, right?
Yes.
Right? So, what's your biggest challenge in this Andante section?
I think keeping the heartbeat and the pulse through all the different rhythms, and also, even though there is vibrato, not letting it get too out of hand.
Yeah, you actually handled it really well. That's good. And other challenges?
Sorry. I think vibrato is something I'm really working on. Yeah, there were some mistakes I made. Like this was supposed to be on the beat, and after I played it, I was like, no. But I think just all those like nuances of the music and just really like refining them. Yeah.
Oh, I love your answers. Like, ooh, actually, it came through.
Oh, okay.
Your playing. In general, I wanted to touch about your sound in general. My top one comment for you was the sound. I wanted to work on more on that. And your top three was, what was it?
The technique and the phrases and intonation and
vibrato. Wait, it comes more like okay,
yeah,
so
sorry.
let's put that all inside.
Okay.
Let's do the sound first and we'll get to that. Yeah, just keep that. Remember, they will remember.
Okay.
Okay. So let me hear you in the beginning.
Okay.
Exactly the same comments that I wanted to give it to you, and that is the sound, because you have such a great ideas and nuances, but then you can do the same within the sound. Like we said, you can have a style within the sound, but right now you're doing so many other things with the same kind of a sound. You know what I'm saying? It could be more colorful and it could have more potential now. But right now, you have one color, and within this one color, you're doing so much, which is amazing. But then it could bloom more. It could get a little bit different texture, or think about the voice. You can change so much within one instrument, you know? picky about this because in this piece, in that andante section, first section, it's the piece that we can create so much colors that even painters don't help, and even with all the different brushes and brushes that the painters also don't help. And all that combination we can create more. We cannot do this kind of a thing with every other pieces, you know? Like classical period pieces that we did Romberg, there is a borderline you cannot cross. But things like this, Enescu compositions, romantic era, this is our chance. Okay, we can create our own emotions more, but then you need this kind of a tool, you know? I'm trying to give you this tool. And look at all those color changes, you know? It's not the same. They're all the same gestures. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Try it. You should do more. But that was amazing. You know, it was already so beautiful, and now it's like, it's blooming. And let's move on here. And I wanted to say, keep the main melody. We heard da 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 da, right? So we want to hear. So it's a variation. Beautiful. It doesn't always mean it should be always always pretty, you know? I think that was what I was missing. You're such a nice girl, you know? But you don't have to be always yourself when you play. You have to be sometimes more feisty and more passionate, more eager, you know? Not always, pretty, pretty, so you're pretty here, but sometimes you can go, that's what I was missing. So you're always here in your comfort zone, but in this piece, in this section, you know, sometimes you're here, and sometimes you're looking out, you know, more curious. Oh, what's this color? Oh, what's that? What's this little flower? I've never seen this before. That kind of a curiosity we can create. Let's just finish up from the forte, 32.
That's okay. How do you suggest
Yeah.
being able to open up the sound in the high register?
Yeah. I wanted that actually from your ear. What happened?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying like here.
No, here. When you started.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I wish I can have the right answer in one sentence, right? It comes with a lot of practice, right? But in short, shortest answer I could get right now is to play larger. You have to relax more. But somehow we think differently. You would think the other way. We have to play what? And then the sound only goes this way. But if you relax, sound goes this way. And then the next question would be, okay, the sound is this way, but it's dispersed. So that's when we have to work on how to make it large and still focused sound. And this comes with your everyday practice with listening carefully, with the tone exercises. You know, I still do tone exercises. This is for everybody, for forever. So not just do the warming up tone exercises, but use your ears. How was I? What happened? This sound was really, really nice. How did I create that? Was it just an accident, you know? So recreating it. And sometimes I get it, and then next day it's gone. You know this feeling, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Next day it's gone. and then I have to do it again to find that sound. How did that happen yesterday? What happened overnight? What did I eat? You know? But then, the more you try it, getting there the amount of the time, it gets shorter. You know, in the beginning it took me maybe I don't know, half an hour, and then in the end, many days and weeks later, I could get it in, I don't know, half a second. I don't know, ideally.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, that's how you get there. Keep trying, and the next day, gone. But then you get to that sound quicker than yesterday.
Yeah.
So, keep trying, keep
Yeah.
practicing.
Thank you.
Okay? Yes.
Thank you so much.
This was so much fun, and you, all four of you, played so well.
Yes.
I was only being super picky, so don't take anything personal. It's always really fun to talk about flute playing, and see all your smiley faces. Have a good evening, have good dinner if you haven't had any. I'm gonna clash to bed now. Yeah. Okay.